loving every day. Okay, I got the keys to the universe, so stay with me. Cause I got the keys, baby. Don't wanna wake up one day wishing that we'd done more. I wanna live fast and never look back. It's what we're here for. Don't wanna wake up one day wondering where it all go. Cause we'll be home before we know. I wanna hear you sing it. Hey mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. Hey mama, we're gonna be alright. Dry those eyes. We'll be back in the morning when the sun starts to rise. So mama, don't stress your mind. So mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. We coming home tonight. Where should we run to? We got a ticket that takes us wherever we like. We got our problems, but just for the minute, let's push all our troubles aside. Alright, cause we got the keys to the universe inside our minds. Yeah, we got the keys, baby. Don't wanna wake up one day wishing that we'd done more. I wanna live fast and never look back. It's what we're here for. Don't wanna wake up one day wondering where it all go. Cause we'll be home before we know. I wanna hear you sing it. Hey mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. Hey mama, we're gonna be alright. Dry those eyes. We'll be back in the morning when the sun starts to rise. So mama, don't stress your mind. So mama, don't stress your mind. Stress your mind. Hey mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. Hey mama, we're gonna be alright. Dry those eyes. We'll be back in the morning when the sun starts to rise. So mama, don't stress your mind. So mama, don't stress your mind. We coming home tonight. We coming home tonight. You've been running around, running around, running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd call you up. You've been going around, going around, going around every party in LA. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd be at one. Oh, I know that dress is karma, perfume regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Oh, and now I'm all up on you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. You've been running around, running around, running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd call you up. Baby, now that we're right here standing face to face. You already know that you won. Oh, I know that dress is karma. You regret, yeah. You got me thinking about when you were mine. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Now I'm all up on you. What you expect, oh, baby? But you're not coming home with me tonight. Oh, no. You just want attention. You don't want my heart.
It's because you guys are okay. We're good.
Because of practice. Yeah, she's been doing this one a while.
Did you got more? No, just leave it. Okay. Perfect.
How we feeling? How is everybody? Have we been introduced yet? Are we going yet?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There.
Chef, we're live now.
Welcome, Truffle Shufflers and Butcherbox. Well, I'm Chef Angus McIntosh. We're here today on Sunday to do an incredible cooking class, again with Butcherbox. And we're doing a Mediterranean Ribeye Steak Salad with hummus and spring vegetables from the garden, right? So, welcome. First off, we're here in Wyoming. We happen to be at a cattle ranch called Brush Creek, right? So we're going to be featuring some amazing beef. So let's jump right into it. We've got ribeye. This is an all grass-fed, grass-finished product brought to you by Butcherbox, right? We also have some really amazing vegetables from the garden. So we've got some carrots. Oh, hey, Dylan, would you mind doing me a favor? Would you fill this up with the lettuce that's in that front? In the front, there's some lettuce.
Chef, I would love to.
Thank you so much. It's in the no. There's it's in there. Perfect. Anyway, welcome. If you have any questions, post them on the comments, and let's get into it. So we're going to be searing the strip steak. We're going to be making an incredible salad, and we're also going to be making a chickpea hummus. So we've got these chickpeas, garbanzo beans, aka. All right. Perfect. Do you guys want to bring the camera over to the? Oh, thank you so much. This is Chef Dylan.
How are we?
Right here. He's helping out. Right. We got these beautiful garden lettuces. So at Brush Creek Ranch, we have a greenhouse project that we actually make all of these lettuces in-house, right? Not only that, think about that. We have the cucumbers from the garden. We've got the carrots from the garden, all grown on this property. Super, super special, right? All right. We're gonna jump in. So before I do anything, I always just go ahead, I'm gonna wash my hands. Thank you. All right, so at home you may not have a Roboku that is as good as this one, but you probably have something, right? So right here we've got our equipment, we've got our blade. We're gonna lock this in. What I love, so chickpeas are wonderful, so we'll add that, right? Beautiful. And then we have some amazing tahini. So tahini is pureed sesame seeds. So we have this beautiful tahini. We're just gonna drop that in the blender. Amazing. All right. So Butcherbox has an anything seasoning. Anything seasoning means if I'm making hummus, I'm going to use the anything seasoning in my hummus. Right? Beautiful. All right. Lemons. We're going to take the lemon and we're going to zest it into the hummus. Beautiful. I'll bring this a little closer. If you don't have a zester at home, think about it. We'll use the zest a little later too. All right. Say it. Juice the lemon. So we're going to be juicing the lemon, and I'm always catching the seeds in my hand. Right there. I love the juice of one lemon. As much lemon as I can put in my tahini, the better off I'm going to be. Boom. All right. Let's go for it. So, what's the other ingredient? We need salt. Good thing we keep plenty of salt around the kitchen. Salt. Beautiful. Now, one thing I like to say, I always say, is you can always add, but you can never take away. So if I over salt this, all of a sudden it becomes useless. But you can always layer in the seasonings. You can always add more. So when you're seasoning, you can always add a little bit. And when you say, "Oh, what's the recipe, chef?" It's like just add a little bit of salt, and feel it out, and then you taste through it, and then you're gonna add more salt. So you can always add, but you can never take away. All right. I also love, this is a lemon olive oil. And if I can get any lemon olive oil, I will. So Agramanto is one of my favorites. So I'll put a little lemon olive oil in with the hummus, and we'll give it that nice spin. This is classic hummus. Chickpea. You could also do pea hummus. You could do beet hummus. I'm not really into some of those other derivatives, but I do love pea hummus with yuzu, right? I love pea hummus with yuzu and mint. It's one of my favorite hummuses. All right, so we'll grab a tasting spoon. 2 seconds. Whoa, get the spoons out. We'll go ahead. It's good. It's smooth. So you want a nice smooth mouthfeel. It has that richness from it has a base from the sesame seeds from the chickpeas, and then it's got a little bit of that lemon. I honestly think you could use just a little bit more and a little bit more salt. I love cumin, toasted cumin in my classic tahini. But if you don't have cumin and you have Butcherbox seasoning, I think you're going to work out just fine. So let's go ahead. We'll give it one last blend and we'll see where we go. That was good. Again, we got it. Put it in the recipe. All right. Beautiful. Let's take this out. You know, that's the difference. I think that's why we have cooking classes, is because a recipe is as good as what's on that card. Having these cooking classes is that interactive experience that really allows us to then transcend and have just a recipe card to bringing it to real life and kind of having those other little layers that are a little bit more in depth. So we've got this hummus, super tasty, super smooth, you know. So I'm just going to go ahead. And of course, you can always buy your hummus, right? We'll go, man. We'll go. All right, so one thing that I always love to do is when I finish a project, I'll clean up, reset, and then start my next project. That way, when we're done cooking, everything's not just a mess, right? Let's talk steak. Well, let's talk salad, right? So we're doing a Mediterranean feel. So we have lots of vegetables, some lettuces, right? So my lettuce is already clean, and I hope yours is too. If you don't, I love using a salad spinner to making sure that all the lettuce is super, super dry, right? Put all of our other ingredients aside. I hope you can see this. So we've got things like carrots, cucumber, and radishes, right? So I'm going to take those. I still like using the tops of my carrots. I'm going to take those, and I'm just going to pick those right into my salad. All right. So right now I'm manicuring my vegetables, right? We've got some cucumbers that are already finished. So I'm going to layer those in the salad. Beautiful. I've got a mandolin. This Japanese mandolin is one of my favorite pieces of equipment when it comes to mandolins. Other mandolins have, and I'll show you the front side. The reason I'm showing you the back side is because other mandolins have little screws here and here, and they can get a little wonky. This one, when you screw it up and down, it does it evenly. So it's all about the specific pieces of equipment. You know, I like to take my cucumbers, and if you don't want to use your knife, you can always use a mandolin. And you see how easy that is, right? Same thing with the carrots. These carrots are super tender. I'm not even going to peel them. Because they're so tiny. And you see we got some really amazing varieties of these carrots that are super, super special. Wow, look how impactful that is, right? So when we're talking about Mediterranean food and we're talking about how light it is, it's all about just fresh, beautiful ingredients, right? So what I'm going to end up doing is I've got these seasoned tomatoes, right? These seasoned tomatoes are going to go These seasoned tomatoes can go right in the salad, right? Wow. And it's just such a nice thing to just be able to have these tomatoes on hand, right? chunky cucumbers. We've got our feta and our dressing. And our dressing is just olive oil and vinegar, but I have it in this right here. You also can make a little bit of basil pesto if you have it in the garden. All right. We're going to sear the steak over here. Oh, God. So we have this strip steak, ribeye, and this is a center cut ribeye, all grass fed, grass finished from Butcherbox. So what we want to do is we've got this cast iron from La Crusette that's enamel finished. It makes it kind of non-stick. So this is the pan I choose because you can feel it's got that heaviness to it. So any cast iron you have at home is what I prefer. But yeah, I'm using a heavy bottomed, even heat conductor. And that's what it's all about. So we're gonna follow us all the way over to this stove real quick. We're gonna get this pan ripping hot. So to start, we've got this pan on a high heat, but when we go to put the steaks in it, we're gonna go ahead and reduce that heat to medium, right? One thing that we always think about is mise en place in chef words is basically, everything in its place. So what we want to do is we want to be thoughtful. And when we're done with this steak, we want a landing pad for it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take some parchment paper, right? And we can just easily fold it like that. And now we have a little landing pad for our steak, right? So we're just being thoughtful about how we go about what we do, right? So we have that. Hey, give me a tasting kit. Got a little butter, a little garlic, a little thyme. What? It'll last. All right, let's get these steaks. It doesn't have to be fancy. All right. So I'm patting these steaks dry, right? We want to make sure that they are nice and dry, right? So let's go ahead and season these ladies. Are you ready? So we're taking Butcherbox anything. I like the rancher seasoning when it comes to the steaks, and we're gonna hit it with that rancher seasoning from Butcherbox, and then a little bit more salt. Beautiful. So you see they're dry, they're seasoned, and they've been sitting out, they're tempered, right? We want a little, we don't need them to be ice cold, because that way they cook right. We're gonna put just a little bit of fat in the pan, just a pinch, right? And we see we've got that heat, right? You need that heat. And you can hear that sizzle, right? That's that sound that we're looking for is that sizzle. All right, while the steak is cooking, you can see we're getting some good color. We have butter, garden thyme, and some cloves of garlic, right? You can use a little bit of shallot that's sliced if you want to too. But what we're preparing to do is when we flip the steaks, we do what's called basting, right? And we're gonna baste the steaks in that butter and give it just a little bit more flavor as it's done cooking. Beautiful. So patience is key. You know, I think that this ribeye from Butcherbox is the star of the show. Any questions, comments? We used to do this with Truffle Shuffle, and then we had all these, like we could pan to other people cooking and see it. And I just miss the energy of watching everybody cook together. It was really special. This is great, but that was really special. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give these a little flip. You can see we're starting to get that color that we're looking for, right? And with that color also has that texture, you know? Medium heat, because the pan's gonna conduct the heat naturally. Once it's up high, it kind of stays that way for a little bit. You're the camera person now, huh? You're getting good. Anyway, as we start to cook those steaks, yeah, we're here at Brush Creek Ranch, a beautiful facility, and when we're done presenting the steaks, I'll show you a little around the property. All right, so you can kind of feel them starting to tense up, right? You see they both the thickness of the steaks, I think, is super important when searing. I think this 1-inch steak cut is the minimum you want when it comes to cooking a steak, especially in the pan, because without that 1-inch steak, by the time they're done on each side, they're not going to be that nice mid-rare that I want. You may want to go a little longer. If you want to go a little longer, you can always put them in the oven, but I find that meat kind of tenses up in the oven, and that's not as bueno as we want. So I've got a kitchen towel to keep my hands from getting hurt. I got this butter, and we're going to drop it right in the pan. I'm going to take this garlic and this thyme, and I'm just going to spread it around the pan. And we can almost turn the down even lower, right? So now that you have it, you want to tilt the pan. You want to put the steaks up top, right? You want to tilt the pan, and then you want to just baste. And the cold butter is cooling the butter down, cooling the pan down, so it doesn't fully brown the butter. So you want that butter to start cooling the pan down, and you're just basting the steaks. It's cooking a little bit of the garlic, cooking that thyme, and you're just basting it in butter, right? And you feel that we got a nice medium rare. And then we can shut off the heat completely. What we'll end up doing is taking these steaks out of the pan. And then I love this liquid we made. So I'm just going to pour this liquid right over the steaks. Beautiful. Amazing. So we're going to walk these steaks. We're going to walk them on down this way. We're going this way. Perfect. All right. So let's take a little account of our ingredients and see where we're at. I love to rest my steaks for a minimum of 5 minutes, right? So if you look at these steaks, they're at a nice medium rare. They didn't need to go into an oven because of the thickness, right? They're super, super tasty. They have a really good flavor. Chef, I didn't have them all done. I was worried. I didn't have them all done. Okay. So we have the hummus, the steaks, and this beautiful Mediterranean vegetable salad, right? We also have some feta. And I made pesto. We made pesto earlier, so we're going to use this pesto because that's like the heart, you know, you just want a little bit of flavor. All right. Any questions, comments? Everybody's good? Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get some hummus on a plate, right? I'll bring it up. I'll bring the plate up. So it's Sunday night. When I cook for Sundays, I always like to cook extra. I like to cook extra because then that way on Sunday, I have a little bit of meal prep for the rest of the week. So I hope that you're all with me. So I'm sure everybody's got beautiful plates at home. I love plates with a lot of space. That negative space is always fun. So hummus, I'm just going to drop a little hummus on the plate. Enough for everybody. Hummus is a great little protein. And we can dress our vegetables. Right? I'm just using a little Mediterranean vinaigrette. I'm also going to hit it with some salt. And it's me cooking at home, so I don't mind using my hands. So let's give it a taste. Remember the old adage, you can always add, but you can't take away. So the salt's there, the acid's there. Honestly, it'd be really nice. Some more fresh lemon. So I'm just going to make sure that each plate gets a few cucumbers. I'm going to make sure each plate gets a few beautiful tomatoes. Wow. Look at that. So we have plenty of leftovers for the next day that we can package up. We got plenty of hummus, right? I've got this basil pesto that looks incredible. So I'm just going to put that, kind of drizzle it around the plate. Beautiful. All right. Steaks and knives. So you can see we have everything cleaned up. So now we've got this incredible salad, we've got hummus, we've cleaned up. So if I'm at home, the last thing I want to do is clean up a big mess in the kitchen after I'm done eating. I like to do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And that allows me that when I'm done, that there's just a lot less going on. So you can see we've got these incredible ribeyes from Butcherbox. Oh. We're going to take these. They're still beautiful, nice temp, but they had time to rest. So you can either use a regular knife or serrated, right? Every once in a while, I prefer to use a serrated knife because, and you want to cut with the grain. So if you notice the grain is going this way, like across the steak. So when I'm cutting this way, I'm going against the grain, right? And the thinner you cut the meat, the more perceived tenderness you're going to get, right? So what a beautiful, and I'm just going to show you, look at that. Look at that beautiful cut. Look at that beautiful color. Marbling is all there. We can drop this right here. So when you look at the cutting board, there's a little bit of blood, but it's had time to rest. And all that liquid, the albumin, all the juices are still intact. It's not just blood, it's everything else. So again, here's the grain of the ribeye, and we're going against the grain of the ribeye, and we're going to cut super thin pieces. The thin, I say, there's a little thing I say to the cooks to say, thin to win, right? Thin to win. And the thinner the cut of meat, wow. The Butcherbox seasoning on this cut is incredible. Boom. All right. So I've got a little feta to finish the salad off. I love a little crumbled feta. All right. What's my favorite condiment to a good steak? My favorite condiment to a good steak is Maldon. So this flaky sea salt right here, I literally cannot eat a good steak. It's a sin to not eat a good steak without this flaky sea salt. It's a sin. So I go liberal on the steak. Right? Okay. So we now have Butcherbox Ribeye, hummus, Mediterranean vegetables from the garden. And we just made this in a few short minutes, right? This is an accessible recipe that we can do over and over and over again, that we can feed the family for days at a time, right here, right? So I'm gonna put this up to the camera, take a look. Mediterranean ribeye from Butcherbox. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, I'm here. But yeah, I think we just made a beautiful hummus. We made an incredible Mediterranean salad with a little bit of basil pesto, and you learned how to sear a ribeye perfectly from start to finish. Anyway, we appreciate you from Truffle Shuffle, from Butcherbox. I'm Chef Angus. Thank you so much.